Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed yet another drugstore dupe or duds video. I have a few more things that I did in my last video and I can't wait to try these out and show you guys how they work. So if you'd like to see what I grabbed and how I feel about them, just keep watching. The very first thing I'm going to try out is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this has often been compared to the NARS Radiant Creamy. Now, if you can tell, this one's definitely darker. I got the lightest one that was in my store, and I know there is one shade lighter. This one is 10 light, but there's another one that's actually lighter. And yeah, I didn't feel like trying to track it down. So I'm just going to use this. I'm not going to say, oh, it's not bright enough. I'm just going to be looking at the texture, how it feels on my skin, how it looks on the skin, yada yada. But yeah, so we're comparing this against the NARS Radiant Creamy. This one is like my skin tone. There's going to be no brightness at all, but I'll go back over it with my brightening powder, and then we'll get some highlight going on. Okay, again, aside from the fact that this one is not as bright as my Radiant Creamy, the textures on these are different when applied under the eye. This one, the NARS one, is a little bit drier and thicker, and then this one, I would say is a bit creamier, like a bit creamier, and I would honestly prefer that. Yeah, the Radiant Creamy is definitely a thicker consistency if you ask me. But it does lay nicely under the eye. I think it's gonna be a little bit creasy, but I guess if you set it with powder, it's no big deal. And that's exactly what I'm about to do. So first impressions on this is I don't think it's an exact dupe. They are similar, but I do think that this one is, the Radiant Creamy is thicker, but I like that this one is thinner. That's actually why I stopped using this so much, is because it was so thick that I might actually try and hunt down the lighter version of this and try and wear it like consistently, because I do like the way it looks underneath the eye. Yeah, so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna powder my face and we're gonna move on to the next thing. The next thing I'm going to test out is a dupe for the Marc Jacobs Highlight and Contour. This one is Mirage Filter Instamark Light Filtering Contour Powder. And as you can see, I've gotten a lot of use out of this. This shade over here, I was able to use more in the summertime when I got super dark, but I can't really now. And then, yeah, we're just about out of the contour shade. So what we're going to see if it is a dupe is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. So this is what it looks like, and you can kind of see this shade is a little bit darker, and then this one is a little bit more yellow, but we're going to see how this works. Before I do that though, I'm going to add a little bit of bronzer because I never contour my face without bronzer on, so just so that we've got a even playing field here. I'm going to use my Wayne Goss number 2, ooh, that's very powdery, and pick up the contour shade. Ooh, very, very pigmented, like very pigmented. It seems to be buffing on pretty easily. The color's nice. So I do like the color. It's a little bit splotchy on this side, but I think I've been having issues with that side of my skin, so it blended out really nicely. I like the color of it. So I would say yes on the contour side. So let's check out the highlight side. And typically I wouldn't even use this powder, but for good measure, I'm gonna pop some on my cheeks. I'm gonna use my MAC 137 to do so. That definitely helped to brighten up the area. Very powdery though, very powdery. Looking at it on the skin though, my skin doesn't look dry, doesn't look cakey. So this guy I'm going to call a dupe. Not necessarily because of this, like this is not a yellow shade, but I actually prefer this one more because I'm so fair. But yeah, this guy is good. I would say check this one out. Next up, I have a brow product, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this. This is the Brow Stylist Sculptor. I think it's what it says behind there. I am going to compare this to this guy because I've been using this the most. This is the MAC Velux Brow Liner in Velvet Stone. I'm probably going to be talking about this in my favorites video. I don't remember if I talked about it last time, but I love this pencil. Like, it's freaking perfection. So I'm going to be using this and comparing it to this guy. And the shade I got is Dark Brunette. Okay, so instead of a spoolie, it has this tiny little brush right here. I guess you can push up your brow hairs. I don't know how I feel about that. And then on one end is a wax. I don't really do the wax thing. I think I'm basically just going to use this and use my clear brow set and see how it does. Let's see if this guy stays in focus. So I'm going to flick up. Oh, it's pigmented. I feel like I'm going to put this spoolie brush thing on here so that I can go back and forth with the pencil and be able to use it that way. It brushes out nicely. I'll brush my brow hairs down. A little mini tutorial for you guys on how I do my brows. This pencil is definitely more pigmented and it grabs to the skin a little harder than what my other one does. Like, that's a line right there. I feel like I'm having to be super duper careful with it. I hate the brush. I'll tell you that right now. I much prefer a spoolie. I'm actually going to take a spoolie and go through this because I feel like I need my spoolie. Now I'm going to pop some clear brow gel in this bad boy. The color is not bad. I think my brows look pretty good. Well, my brow, because we haven't fixed this situation yet, but this one looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other brow and then come back. Okay, so 100% not a dupe if you ask me. I definitely like this pencil better. This one is hella pigmented, so it might be better for people with lighter brows, but like, that's dark and I didn't have to press. This one I'm going to press down harder. Like, you can see it's it just is a lot more natural. This one's like a flippin' eyeliner, so maybe use it as a kohl liner. I don't know, but yeah, this brow got so dark. It's already more hairy and denser, so I had to add a little bit to this side. I'm like, oh, this is a nightmare. But if I used any other color, it would be too red or too brown. My brows are black, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna stick with my other guys there. And just for reference, here's the Brow Wiz. Yeah, still you can see the lines are much thinner and it's just not that dark. And these are ebony and this one is dark brunette. So yeah, and this situation right here, no ma'am. Okay, next up we have MAC paint pot comparisons. So people compare the paint pots to the 24-hour tattoo shadows, whatever these are. And this one is metal. I couldn't find any that were just matte. So if there are matte ones, let me know. I could not find one. So typically I use the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. You can see I'm like almost out of this guy. I clean up underneath my brows with it and then I use it as a primer from lashes all the way up to get ready for my eyeshadow. So this one though is a matte finish and This guy, let me get a brush. This one is more metallic. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then I'm going to show you the soft ochre paint pot right beside it. You can see it's a little bit deeper, more yellow and matte. And so I decided that the closest one paint pot that I had would be Indian wood. So I'm going to put that right beside. And this one is more shimmery. And so I'm going to put that right there. So even that one's a lot darker. And I'm sure there's something more similar to that, but I don't have it in my collection. So I'm going to use this probably two ways. I'm going to use it to clean up my brows and use it as a primer, and then I might go back over the center lid and see what it looks like by itself. And this color I got is number 70, Barely Branded. I'm going to use a little synthetic brush. I'm going to start on my lid and then bring it up to the brow. It's not as metallic if you don't pack it together, I don't think. And this consistency is much thinner than the Pro Longwear ones. Like the Pro Longwear ones will completely block out any of the veining and whatnot on your lids. This one's not doing that. I would still say it's pretty. I would like it much better, like doubled up though. So I'm going to start off using this as a primer. I don't know if I'm going to get as much color payoff as I was hoping for. Now on top of that, I'm going to use a palette from the drugstore. I've never bought a palette from the drugstore ever. So this is going to be interesting. This one to me looks straight up like the Naked Smoky palette. And I'm going to open this guy. This one's from Wet n Wild. What is the name of this? Bare Necessities. And it's got one of these stupid throw this away because it's no good little foam applicators. But this straight up looked like the Naked Smoky palette to me. So I'm going to use this and my brushes, not this. Now, because I'm not a fan of how light this paint pot dupe is, I'm going to go ahead and top it off with this shade right here in a MAC 242. When you swatch these, it looks more metallic than it does when you're putting them on the eye. I'm kind of doubling up the product a little bit too. Going to grab a MAC 221, and there's not a lot of transition shades in this guy. There's only like 2 matte shades, these 2 right here. So, I guess I'm first going to grab this shade here. Set underneath my brow bone and a little on the inner corner. And then I'm going to grab this matte shade, woo, very powdery, and go into the crease. Not a lot of color payoff. So I'm already going to tell you I hate this palette. But yeah, I'm going to finish this look. Not super enthused, but I'm going to finish it. Now I'm going to go in with the darker matte shade right in the outer corner. Oh yeah, it's not pigmented. Let's try that again. I feel like giving up on this. You have no idea. Like I really feel like giving up. I'm so underwhelmed by this. This legit looks like a muddy mess. I am not happy. Like to the point that I am definitely not going to go anywhere after this. I am going to quit messing with these shadows. Go ahead and tell you, yeah, no. Definitely not a dupe for the Naked Smoky. These are not good quality at all. If you ask me, I will be giving this to my daughter and she will love it, and she should, but no. I'm going to throw on some winged liner and probably something underneath my lash line, and I will be right back. A little pair of lashes or a large pair of lashes fix everything. Like you can't even tell how bad my eyeshadow sucks right now, can you? But for that comparison, I wanted to show you guys the Salon Perfect 615s against the MAC 35s. Now, I don't think these are exact dupes, but the shape of them, they're very whimsical. So I kind of, if you like the 35s, I kind of like to say grab the 615s from Salon Perfect. I get them from Walmart, and it's a nice, cheaper alternative for you. Now, going back to this whole eyeshadow and tattoo metal, whatever this is, hate this. This is not a dupe for anything. Like, don't bother. I don't care. I don't remember if this was $5 or $10, but just don't do it. And I'm honestly not impressed with this either, this 24-hour eyeshadow. No ma'am. I don't think it's pigmented enough. I was going to pop it on my inner corner to make sure, but like when I blend it on my hand right there, can you even see it? Like, no. It could just be the color, but I don't like it. So not a dupe in my opinion. Definitely not a dupe, but the eyelashes are fabulous. Now I'm going to be checking out this baked highlighter from e.l.f. and this one is called Moonlight Pearls. Now I've seen this compared to several different things. Let me swatch this. I think this was like $3. It's freaking crazy. Like, even if I can only use this as an eyeshadow, I'm not mad. And if I can get it open, that's another story. There we go. So it's not super pigmented for sure, but that's Moonlight Pearls. And then I've seen it most compared to the 01 highlighter from Laura Mercier. This one's definitely more pigmented, softer. But I'm going to try this out on my cheeks and see how it does. So I'm going to put on some blush and stuff and finish off my face before I do that though. In the spirit of drugstore, I'm going to put on Milani's Luminoso, and then I'm going to put this all in super speed so that we can get to the highlighter. All right, now going in with the highlight, I'm going to use this is the concealer brush from e.l.f. I'm just gonna grab some of this. I grabbed this because I feel like maybe it'll pick up more product. I'm gonna swirl it around on here. It's really not picking up too much. Okay, so I need a different brush. Maybe my kitten paw from MAC, the 227. Just feel like it's not coming off. There we go, that's a little better. So that gives me a little bit of a nice glow. I did have to use something that would pick up the product a little bit better. Definitely not a dupe. I don't even think it's a dupe for like Soft and Gentle or anything. Not a dupe for this for sure. This is way easier to apply. It's softer. It's not as chunky, and it's like, I don't know, I love this guy. But this isn't bad. You just need to have a good brush to apply it, and you can use this wet. So I'm gonna see what it does on my hand. If I pick this up, spray it with some Fix Plus, and then go on my hand. It definitely looks a little bit more wet and it's a little prettier, not as chunky, but it's not a huge difference. So yeah, still not a dupe, but it's $3. Even if you use that for eyeshadow, I think you can't go wrong. Next product is also from e.l.f. and this is the Makeup Mist and Set. This has been compared to both the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix as well as the MAC Fix Plus. Just a note, MAC Fix Plus is not a setting spray, so if this is a setting spray, you really can't compare it to this other than maybe what it does to your skin. But I did have the Makeup Forever, sorry I'm like digging in my ear, it itched. I did have the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. I didn't like it, so I returned it. This was before it was like all over YouTube, but yeah, I didn't like it, so I brought it back. This, we're gonna check this out and see how it does. Okay, let's try out this spray first. It's nice and soft. Let's cross our fingers and put this on the face. Woo! You better hold that back a little. Oh, it got in my mouth. Hold that back further because it's not as fine as I thought it was. So I'm gonna go back a little further, like a lot further. I've got this one bigger drop right here that will not hurry up and dry. But I'm looking at these ingredients, and I would say that the ingredients are more like the MAC Fix Plus, which would lead me to believe that this would not, it wouldn't prolong your makeup the same way that, say, the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. This has no alcohol in it, so that's good. But it does have glycol like this does, and green tea extract. So a few things that would actually be good for your skin. So maybe it is pretty close to this. I do like the softer spray on this much better. I don't feel sticky, so that's nice. I look a little shinier here than what I think I do with this, but not bad. So I would say that this is a very cheap alternative to this, but I like this much better just in the very first impression. One last thing, you guys, and this is, it's been talked about all over the place. I've never put one of these on my lips before, but I'm going to today. And this is from NYX, the Soft Matte Lip Cream. So I'm going to compare this to all the liquid lipsticks that I have, and I'm just going to put this on. So for a while there, I absolutely did not think this was gonna dry because it took like 15 minutes. I went outside because I was like, it's windy outside. Surely it's gonna dry outside. And it did. So it's not completely like kiss proof, but actually, I don't know. It feels very airy. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna have cracks all in my mouth. So I actually like this. I'm impressed with this a little bit. I don't think it's really a dupe for anything else, because it's very different. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe if you're not already. And if you have any drugstore dupes you would like me to do a video on, just let me know. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!